Hello, beautiful ones. This is Lorelei with the Tightrope to 5D Music Reactions. And why that strange name, you might ask? Stick around to the end. I'm going to give you a special message about this shift from the third dimensional consciousness to the fifth dimensional consciousness, an historic shift which has never happened, which is happening for the whole population on the planet. How about that? But for now, we're going to look at Morissette, Amon, a very high vibrational singer as a general rule, singing this beautiful song, Oh My Holy Night. Here we go.
Merry Christmas once again. The stars are brightly shining in this world. Our tears sing us long day the weather and spend and never pining to hear and slow felt his love.
So first of all, I'm having trouble hearing it. I don't know if you will or not because sometimes my system enhances the sound. So hopefully you'll hear it fine. And by the way, if you're enjoying these things that I'm doing, hit the like button for me and hit the like button for her. She's doing a great job so far. It's a little hard to hear, but we could get the idea. And subscribe. Here we go. Let's hear that again. So great, isn't it? The way she does that up and down thing. I forget the name of it, but you know, you guys tell me, you singers out there. I can watch this song any old time, by the way. And this is an interesting song to sing because I love to sing it too. But it goes, if you start, you have to start pretty low because it's going to go really high. So you have to really navigate. So sometimes when you start low, it's hard to hear your voice in the lower range because it has such a broad range that you're going to sing. So here we go. Let's go back a little. So pretty. We gotta rewind to hear that little bit again, where she does that riffing around and that clear, beautiful note there, or two notes. Here we go. Oh my, wow. I got to go back and hear that again because I know she's about to go into something really spectacular, but I want to hear that again. That was pretty amazing. Here we go. I think that's called the whistle when it gets up that high. Oh my goodness. How does she? And she knocks me out every time she does it. Let's go back and hear that again. Holy moly. Wow. Oh my. I think it goes on for more, but no, it's just showing the next thing. Okay, very good. So, wow. Unbelievable job done by Morissette Amon. Holy moly. I only dream to be able to hit a note like that. I mean, I can go up fairly high, but that is flat out ridiculous. That's so wonderful. What a beautiful song. I do hear she's a devout Christian. And, you know, whatever religion you are devout about that brings you forth to be the best you can be and the most loving, the most generous, the most wonderful, I'm all for that, you know, because there are many ways to reach that divine creator of everything. So, you know, just that is important to her is so very inspiring and so very beautiful. So let's see, what are we going to do with this song? In terms of, I have my scale, 1 being very low vibrational, fear, pain, sadness, anger, sorrow, etc. It's definitely not there. And 10 being very high vibrational, joy, bliss, peace, all of that wonderful stuff. Oh my goodness. This is pretty darn high. And this is about the story of Jesus, which whether you take it from a religious perspective, that Jesus is your savior, or whether you just take it from a perspective of what I speak about, the metaphysical perspective of him coming here to assist the planet to get back on track and bring in the love and bring in the joy and bring in that thought of a fifth dimension, not really saying it, but that heaven on earth, right? Whichever way you look at it, that's a very wonderful story. That's an amazing story. So everything, you know, that like, oh, sheesh, everything's really coming together with this baby. This is really, really, really high. So I'm going 9.5 on this. Yes. Yes. And she did it so beautifully. Didn't she do it so beautifully? My goodness. And by the way, comment if you kind of get what I'm talking about this difference. I'd love to know your understanding. Each time I do these videos, are you starting to get the understanding of the third dimensional what we've lived in so long, the fear, the pain, the suffering, moving to the fifth dimensional. Are you kind of understanding that? Are you seeing that? Are you seeing it in the songs? I think it's right in the songs. And that's my point of doing these songs, by the way. So, by the way, if you'd like to know more about me, just go to the About Me video here on this channel. And that'll also lead you to a longer video, if you'd like to watch that, about what I call my forged in the fire of third dimensional reality journey, okay, which was interesting. And I've taken those skills and talents and created some things that might be of interest to you. And those you can find by going to the description on YouTube and drop down to About Lorelei on Patreon. So check that out, and if you care to. So what is my 5D message today? By the way, I'm not going to sing a song today, but I did sing one, I believe, in the next, I think, 2 videos from now. You'll hear a little snippet of a song. Sometimes I bring you a song at the end. Tell me if you like that. Tell me if you want to hear more. But here we have my 5D message. How do we overcome the physical reality in 5D? So what we first have to understand, so we're talking about this shift, third dimensional consciousness of the fear, the sadness, the lack, the scarcity, the suffering, and the trauma and all that, to the fifth dimensional of the heaven on earth, of the joy, the love, the peace, the abundance, the prosperity for all, everyone just living the life of their dreams kind of thing. And that actually must involve some shift in the physical body, right? Because first of all, sickness makes us very low vibrational. So there's no sickness in fifth dimension. Second of all, you really don't get hurt in fifth dimension. Very, very, very seldomly would you ever get hurt, because you're such a high vibration and you have that God spark going on. So you're not going to just, wander off a cliff somewhere. You're not going to harm yourself in these various different ways when you're of such a high vibration. Once in a great while it might happen, but then there are all the medicines and so forth that people have to assist you right away, naturally, quickly, fix it up, quantum healing machine, all that stuff, the quantum ways of healing the body, if there is ever a need for it. So that in the fifth dimension, we are certainly overcoming the physical reality, up to and including what we see in Robin Williams, for instance, What Dreams May Come, where he goes into this kind of heaven-like place, and it's like, I don't know, beautiful sunshine and gorgeous trees and all kinds of flowers, and it's like brighter colors than he's ever seen, and I don't know what all is there, just a really beautiful scene. He says, well, where did this come from? And a voice comes out of the great beyond and says, you created it. So what we have to understand, really, we're going to create beauty and wonder and joy and love in the fifth dimension. We're going to create how we want it to look, how we want the trees and the flowers and the landscape, and how we want it all to be, how we want our very physical body to be, how we want it to look, how perfect it is. A lot of people don't believe I am the age that I am, which is at least a decade more than half a century. But and that's because I do this with myself. And actually, I have one of the things on my meetup is about reclaiming your youth, health, and inner divine power. So we say, well, how could that be possible? How could it be possible for us to create our reality there, up to including overcoming the very physical reality? Well, let's see. How did Jesus walk on water? How did Moses part the Red Sea? How did Buddha say, I'm going to die on this day and have on this day at this time and have all the people not die? He said, I was going to move to the higher dimensions. Pardon me. He said, I'm going to move on at this time on this day. And all the people lined up miles and miles, and they all came through. And then the last one came through and said goodbye, kissed his hand, whatever. And poof, he left. Okay. How did that happen? How do the Tibetan monks sit on the mountain with ice all around them and keep their body temperature and literally melt the ice around them? And many, many other wondrous stories. How do people in those Tibetan mountains, or did they before, as before a lot of the Western world was coming in, how did they live to be 150 years old? How do people in these tribal areas, some of them we find living to 150 years old or more, right? How does this happen? Because it's clearly happened. It has happened. There have been snippets and places where it has happened. and we hear the stories of it. And we know about it. For instance, in India, they have their sages or their gurus who will come in and out of physical reality. Like they're here 1 minute, then they're not. Then they're here again, then they're not. And they know of this. They see this. They understand it. They see it happening before their very eyes. So clearly this has been being done. But we say, well, but how? Because like I'm so stuck here. I'm so like, here I am, and it seems like I can't do anything right. And like no matter what I do, every which way I turn, like there's an obstacle in my way, either for the body I want, or for the happiness or the mindset that I want, or for the job that I want, or for being the best parent that I want to be, or for my kids' health or whatever. It seems like there's an obstacle everywhere I turn, right? And that's very true. There's a lot of obstacles here, right? Well, here's what we have to understand. And this is a tough pill to swallow, because we have actually all along this entire whole time been using our God spark power to manifest all around us, everything all around us. We have actually been using our God spark power to manifest all of this. Here's the thing though. We have not been manifesting what we wanted to manifest. We have been manifesting willy-nilly, just barfing things out of our mouth, right? Oh, how sick I am, and then you are sick. Oh my goodness, I'm so poor, and then you are poor. And you think you're validating how life is as it is, but you've been saying it so long, and you've been around people saying it so long, excuse me, that you're not validating. You're actually creating. You and your loved ones and your family, historically, through the generations, have been creating and creating and creating and creating exactly what you don't want through the God spark. We've been doing, I've been doing, I say you, but I mean me too. We have been doing this already, right? So when we do our little manifestation exercise in the morning, right, and we say, oh, I want to have a beautiful house, and I want to travel around the world, and you envision it, and you say, and I'm a divine child of God, and prosperity comes to me, and abundance is mine. And then you leave your meditation, which was 10 minutes or so, and you go to the world and you say, oh my gosh, I have such a headache. I have no money. I don't know how I'm going to pay the bills. The baby's, sick. I'm not feeling really well. I think I'm coming down with the flu. And 80% of our day is spent focusing on and saying what we don't want. And I started to see myself doing it the other day. What was it? Oh yeah, my mom had pink eye. Okay, it was legit pink. So after a few days of trying to get it to go away, we finally called up the doctor and got an antibiotic, and we were putting it in there. And then I'm driving around in my car, and I'm like, gee, my eye feels a little funky. It feels a little itchy. And I thought, oh no, you don't. Don't you dare. And at that point, I said, okay, I am fine. My eye is in great shape. I just have to put some of those eye drops in so that it's a little, so it's a little moist. Sometimes my eyes get dry. And it was that. And that's been 3 days since I did that. And I put the drops in and, been putting my moisture drops in, and no problem whatsoever. You could see. But had I continued on the road of saying how there was might be a problem with my eye, very possibly I would have manifested that. So we are so darn powerful. We don't even realize how powerful we are. And we use the very proof of how powerful we are to say we're powerless. The proof is in the pudding. If you look around your life and you see everything, whether you have money, whether you don't have money, whether you have a relationship, whether you don't, whether you have good relationships with your family and your kids and all, whether you don't, if you look at the things where you don't, you're probably speaking badly about it. You're saying that you don't have that. And if you look at the things where you do, you probably don't have a problem with that. You probably don't have a problem. You probably don't put much focus on it because it works. It's okay. It works. You go along in life, and that kind of area of life works. I encourage you to start making a list, by the way. Okay, here's all the things that don't work, and here's how I speak about them. Here's all the things that do work, and here's how I speak about them. Or maybe I don't even speak about them at all, because I'm so content they go perfectly fine, right? So I don't have a need to speak about them. And if you don't speak negative about them and you just expect that they're going to be fine, that's how they're going to show up, right? In all these areas of life, everything from spirituality to doing your creativity to managing your time to being able to relax and do what you love to do, to, you know, taking care of the kids, to being a mom, of dad, an uncle, a sister, a brother, of, you know, whatever, you know, it's all in there. The areas that you talk well about or don't talk about at all because they work fine, those are working. And the areas that are not working, you'll notice if you make your list that you don't talk so well about it. You don't think so well about it. You don't believe it's going to go so very well. And believe me, I say you, but I mean me as well, because I have been down that path for sure, many times. So how are we going to now manifest, overcome the physical reality? Well, we've kind of been doing it all along. We've kind of been having the physical reality of the reality around us show up how we say it's going to be, right? We've been doing that all along. Now we just have to start to say it's another way, right? Say it's a totally different thing. It's a heaven on earth. And by the way, I did a video about this, and I want you to go ahead and watch it. It's I'm actually singing a version of "If I Can Dream" with Elvis, but I'm singing it with a little different wording to show you what I mean about literally speaking something into existence or causing it to be into existence that we want, that heaven on earth. So go back and watch that one. You're gonna find it long about let's see, it's gonna be like maybe early part of July, okay? But really, it's like this is what there is to do, is to begin to change the story and have the story we are telling and the thoughts we are thinking and the beliefs that we have actually be what we want and what we love and what we enjoy and what is best for us. Have it be that instead of the other way around. Now, I'd also like to say that you just really have to remember, and sometimes we forget because we're in this physical reality and it doesn't seem that way, but you have to remember physical reality was an afterthought, okay? And us coming into these physical forms was an afterthought. You know, our higher selves and what we might want to call our spiritual ancestors, if you will, right? Like those guys were all floating around, the angels, the archangels, the ascended master, whoever's out there, right? Galactics, they were all hanging around in the higher dimensions, right? I think in those days it was mostly I would say it was probably the archangels and so forth, who were in the very, very beginning were creating it. So I'll take that back about the ascended masters and all. They weren't there yet, but you had all these archangels and maybe angels and all that out there saying, okay, what are we going to create? Let's have some fun here, right? They broke off from the divine God spark, and together with the God spark, you know, they were like, yeah, let's make some planets. Let's make some galaxies. Let's make some solar systems. Let's make universes. You know, let's put life on some of them. Now, at some point, decided to they come and be in the physical reality. So the consciousness, the God consciousness, that divine spark created the very physical reality. It wasn't there before. You talk about the Big Bang, right? That was God all of a sudden saying, or the creator of everything saying, all right, here it goes. We're starting here. Boom. Right? Consciousness said it. And out, right? For however long that took, maybe it was 1,000,000 years. I don't know. It was a long time that was bursting out of there, right? And starting to, like, you know, gel into physicality, right? So that consciousness, which is in each of us as a break off from the divine, you know, as our higher self broke off from the divine, then we broke off from them, or we broke off from something that broke off from them, right? We have that divine spark, the same thing. And the only thing is to begin to use it consciously, not accidentally, to use it consciously in the direction of what we want. And then that reality springs up around us because we created it to begin with. You know, like I say, the God spark, the God consciousness that is in each one of us created it to begin with. Like can literally pull all the elements from the void or the universe or whatever forth into whatever we want, like an apple or something like that. That's what replicators do, by the way. What will be coming out soon, which are these, you can get anything in the replicator. So I talk about that in some of my other videos, by the way. You could just punch in something, punch in house, you get it. Punch in headphones, you get it. Punch in scarf, you get it. You know, whatever kind of scarf you want, you know. Just pulling it from the energy of the universe. They call it, I think, the quantum field of energy. I think that's what we're talking about. So my goodness, the only thing to understand is that you have all the power and start to take responsibility and use that power. So, okay, beautiful ones, that's about my message for today. I'm sending you that peace, that love, that joy, that bliss, all that fifth dimensional energy coming at you now. Okay, namaste. I honor the God in you.